Three men walk into a barbecue on a Saturday afternoon. One owns 2 investment properties. One owns a giant stock portfolio. And the third guy is quietly listening to both of them argue, wondering why he still feels broke despite earning decent money. Now here's the weird part. The property investor feels rich because everybody around him says he's winning. The stock investor feels smart because the numbers say he's winning. But only one of them is secretly checking their bank account before buying another round of beers. And when you see what happens to both of them over the next 20 years, it completely changes the way you think about money. Because this isn't really a story about property versus shares. It's about why intelligent people can make terrible financial decisions simply because the people around them make those decisions feel normal. And honestly, once you notice the psychological trap hiding underneath all of this, you start seeing it everywhere. Jake and Marcus are both 32. Both live in Brisbane. Both started with $50,000 at age 22. Same salary, same opportunities, same economy. But one decision split their lives in completely different directions. Jake bought property. Marcus bought index funds. And immediately, Jake looked like the winner. Not because he actually was winning yet, but because property gives you social status instantly. Think about it. Nobody gets excited when you say, I invested in ETFs. But say, I bought an investment property. Suddenly, everybody leans forward. Your parents get proud. Your mates start asking questions. People assume you're financially smart. And that reaction matters more than most people realize. Because humans don't just invest for money. We invest for emotional proof that we're doing well in life. And property gives that emotional reward immediately. Jake could drive past his investment property and feel successful. He could tell people he was getting into real estate. He could watch property videos online and feel ahead of everyone else. Marcus looked boring. No exciting conversations, no flashy milestones, no social validation, just automatic deposits disappearing into index funds every month. And psychologically, that feels terrible at first, because the human brain hates slow progress. We want visible progress. We want status. We want people to notice. That's why so many people accidentally confuse looking wealthy with becoming wealthy. And for the first few years, Jake's decision looked genius. The property price went up. His equity grew. His friends congratulated him constantly. Meanwhile, Marcus just kept investing quietly while almost nobody cared. Then something interesting started happening. Jake's wealth looked huge on paper, but his stress started rising too. Interest rates moved. Repairs appeared. Tenants complained. Unexpected costs kept showing up. And here's something nobody talks about honestly enough. Most investment properties don't feel stressful when you buy them. They feel stressful at 2 a.m. when something breaks. But social media never shows that part. Nobody uploads videos about replacing hot water systems. People only show the exciting bits. And this creates one of the biggest financial illusions people fall for. You see the upside constantly, while the hidden costs stay invisible. So Jake starts telling people his property made $200,000. What he doesn't mention is how much money quietly leaked out underneath that number. Mortgage interest, council rates, insurance, repairs, property management fees, vacancy periods. Slowly, the easy wealth becomes much more complicated. Meanwhile, Marcus is still doing the same boring thing, investing every month, ignoring headlines, reinvesting dividends. And this is where human psychology gets fascinating, because Marcus feels behind emotionally while actually moving ahead financially. That disconnect destroys a lot of investors. Humans are terrible at recognizing slow compounding in real time. We only notice dramatic movement. That's why people obsess over property booms and crypto spikes. Quiet wealth creation doesn't trigger dopamine, and dopamine controls more financial behavior than intelligence does. That's why smart people still panic sell. That's why average earners sometimes outperform high earners financially. Behavior matters more than knowledge. By year 10, Jake owns 2 properties. From the outside, he looks incredibly successful, but internally, he's carrying massive debt exposure tied to one housing market. Every rate rise affects him emotionally. Every economic headline feels personal.
Marcus now owns a massive portfolio spread across hundreds of companies globally. Banks, mining companies, healthcare businesses, technology firms, and almost nobody notices. Because stock portfolios don't create social status the way property does. There's no auction photos, no renovation stories, no look what my suburb did conversations. Just silent, compounding. And this is where the story flips completely. Jake spent years chasing visible wealth. Marcus spent years building invisible wealth. One got attention immediately, the other got freedom later. That's the trade-off nobody explains properly. And to be fair, property absolutely works for some people. Leverage can accelerate wealth dramatically. Housing markets have created millionaires. But leverage also magnifies stress. That's the part finance influencers conveniently skip. Debt feels amazing during growth. Debt feels terrifying during uncertainty. And stocks aren't emotionally easy either. Watching your portfolio crash 30% feels awful. Most people think they're long-term investors until the market actually drops. Then suddenly everybody wants to wait for things to stabilize, which usually means buying back in higher later. Again, psychology, not intelligence. That's why the real battle was never property versus stocks. The real battle is emotional decision-making versus rational decision-making. Because the most dangerous financial decisions usually feel the safest socially, and the smartest financial decisions often feel boring at first. That's the trap. People don't just invest with spreadsheets. We invest with ego, with fear, with comparison, with social pressure. And once you realize that, you stop blindly copying what everybody else is doing. You start asking better questions. What level of stress am I comfortable with? How much freedom do I actually want? What kind of lifestyle am I trying to build? Because wealth without peace of mind is just another form of pressure. And honestly, the people who usually win long-term stop treating investing like tribal warfare. They stop saying property only or stocks only. They focus on building systems instead of defending identities, which leads to a completely different question. What happens when someone combines both strategies properly? Because that's usually where the really wealthy people separate themselves from everybody else. And once you understand how they structure money differently, you'll never look at investing the same way again. If you want that video next, subscribe now, because the difference between people who stay stuck financially and people who quietly build serious wealth usually comes down to one thing: understanding the money psychology almost nobody else sees.